Hi everyone. So I'm sure many people are getting ready for Christmas, doing Christmas baking and preparing their homes. I am too. I'm on my own. I'm a single person, but I am too. And this year I'm going to try to bake some mince pies, Christmas mince pies, if I can get the ingredients. And when we were growing up, my grandmother used to make Christmas pudding for us. So I'm going to try and make that as well. I've never made them before because here in Canada you can buy them at the stores. You don't have to make them. But I thought since they're putting so much industrial product into our foods and things seem to be so unhealthy, I'm going to try to make those two things for Christmas. And I miss South Africa, I miss Zimbabwe this time of the year because we usually get like biltong and things like that as a treat for Christmas. So if I have enough money, I might buy myself some biltong from the South Africa shop. We do have a South Africa shop here where they sell it. It's not owned by South Africans anymore, but you can get it there. It's different from beef jerky. It's not the same as the Canadian beef jerky. So that's something for me to look forward to. And if you have families, if you are with families, be considerate of those of us who are on our own, because the church is very good at celebrating families and the Holy Family, but it doesn't have enough consideration for those of us who are on our own, in the messaging, in how we are treated, in what is arranged in the church. So I'd encourage you to do that. Also, BC had floods recently, so I don't have money to give, but I give wherever I can and whenever I can. And I just pray for people now because that's all I can do. When you're sitting at home and you have zero income, you're more concerned about feeding yourself, clothing yourself, putting a roof over your head, and all I can do is offer them my prayers. But I just thought I would share that because I know that there's probably other single people who are maybe feeling a bit down, but we too can bring Christ into our homes. We can put up our own nativity sets, we can put up our Christmas trees, and we can pray with the Holy Family, and we can bring that Christ spirit of hope into our homes. I'm also happy to see that the assistant of the Conservative MP who crossed over to the Liberals has resigned from supporting him. It's good because when we vote for people and they don't represent us, they don't represent our interests, and they're more interested in partying and photo ops, we're not interested in that, especially if you're like me and you've been in Canada 20 years and you've traveled, you've been to Europe, you've traveled outside of this country. You know the difference between good and bad, and that was a bad decision on his part, because when I vote for someone, I vote for a platform. I vote for what they say they are going to do for me as a citizen of this country. And if they just decide that, okay, I think my constituents feel this, who did you talk to? Did you talk to every single person that voted for you? So it's sad to see people doing that, but I was reading the news and apparently Mark Carney's popularity is going down. And also, if people are defecting and they're bringing conservative values into the Liberal Party, your party is going to be broken. Because ultimately they're saying, yes, it's a team, but it's not a team. They're bringing those conservative values into the Liberal Party. So it's going to be a broken party. It's not going to be unified because they're going to be fighting for different things. And for those of us who are small business owners, who can't get loans, who can't get opportunities to do our speaking for John Maxwell, who don't get opportunities to get a paid income as spiritual directors or executive assistants or anything else, we're not happy with the party, the Liberal Party and the governing party. And if you watch all the documentaries that are out there on Tim Hortons and the food industry and how it's changed, you won't be happy with the school food program, because somebody else is preparing that food. You don't know who's preparing it, you don't know who's touching it, and then they're feeding it to your children. And I was raised that if you take a little time to prepare things and make them at home, especially if you're well and you're able to, then you'd rather do that than have a school food program. And that's how I am. Yes, sometimes I do buy frozen dinners, I do buy frozen foods, but the majority of the time I prepare my own food. Even if I have to buy it and make it and then freeze it and then take it out and defrost it, I would rather do that. And there's so many nice programs on YouTube. There's Jamie Oliver, there's Mary Berry. I watched her YouTube programs on preparing for Christmas, and the one she did recently with Prince William and Princess Kate. There's so many nice things you can prepare beforehand, and then Christmas is stress-free. And that's what we used to do in Zimbabwe. And a lot of that came from my grandmother, because my grandmother used to teach us how to make all the Goan sweets and prepare them in advance and keep them ready. And even for the main meal, as much as we could, everything was prepared in advance. So Christmas was very stress-free. Unfortunately, we all scattered now, so I'll be celebrating Christmas, not completely on my own, because I will go to church and come home. But my health is not still where I want it to be and where the doctor wants it to be. So I'm not going to go to other people's places and take a risk of getting upset and my blood pressure going up or anything like that. I'd rather be at home in my own home and make it as stress-free as possible. I hope others will also think about doing things like that and what you can do in advance to make it a happy Christmas for you and a Merry Christmas for all. Everybody's celebrating Christmas. Even the Palestinians in Israel, everybody celebrates Christmas. Canada is the only country in the world where you have to fight to celebrate Christmas. So it's unfortunate, because even in Israel, they're celebrating Christmas. This is the only country in the world that puts so much stress on Christians. Believe you me, it's the only one. Aside from maybe Nigeria and places like that. But in the Western world, it's the only one. It's the only country I've come to where you have to wear a badge saying you can wish me Merry Christmas. And everyone will tell you that, of every religion that comes here, whether they're Hindu or Muslims or Jews. People are shocked at how Christians get treated in Canada. But we can make it nice for ourselves, and we can make it special for ourselves. And we know that Christ is with us. And even, yes, I'm disappointed that Bono didn't find me a position with him. But love is worth more than money. That's what I have to say.